Good morning. It's a cool morning this morning. It's 30s-ish. Not the best day for working, but not too bad here in the shop. It's pretty windy out. I was going to shoot a little bit of coverage, and I'm going to have to shoot some of this series outside just because I'm not dragging a whole car in here to show you that. But most of this series I can shoot here in the shop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try something a little different. And all of these introductions are going to be exactly the same because I'm going to use this introduction for all of the series. But we're going to cover miscellaneous things, motor mounts, transmission bell housings and or transmissions. Let's see, we're going to go with 4-speed transmissions, the difference between A, B, C, E body. We're going to go over K-frames, the similarities and differences between big block and small block. So basically I'm going to do a little mini-series on big block and small block and the differences of the different parts you're going to need if you go from a small block to big block or vice versa. A lot of guys are switching over from small blocks to big blocks, and even a few crazy people that might want to go the other way. But so a lot of times not knowing will end up spending money where you don't have to. I've had a guy call me up. He's all excited because he bought this transmission at a great deal for a small block, and he didn't want it for 440. He had no idea that there was a difference between the big and the small block. So I'm going to do this little mini series, and I'm going to do little bitsy ones, little short ones on each item, and that way y'all don't have to waste a lot of time watching, 45 minutes of video if all you care about is what the difference between the motor mounts is. So I'll do a bunch of mini series, and then is that a word? Series? Well, anyway. And that way you can just tune into whichever one you want. But I'm also going to do one long one, which is going to cover all of these things, the transmissions and the motor mounts and the, bell houses and, K-frames and all that stuff. So that way you can watch the whole thing at once instead of having to tune into each mini-series. So go either way. Okay? So I'm going to stop talking now because nobody really wants to hear me talk. You guys just want to know what's what, right? So here we go. We're going to start with, doesn't really matter, does it? But we're probably going to start with the differences on the 4-speed transmissions between A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Of course, F and A are the same. So anyway, there's a million different, just tune in. Just so I can confuse you, this is a 72, which is the last year for this style K-frame in the B body. Okay, and if you have a 66 to 72 B body or A body or any E body, you're going to have this style K-frame. And this is the same small block or big block. So there you go. That was simple, right? But now we got to get into the 73 and newer, which goes to a full floating type cave member, and we'll explain that in a second. Here's the difference between a big block and a small block K-frame. Starting with this side, if you'll notice, this is the big block, you'll notice right here, there's about a ½ an inch between this little edge and the K-frame. Okay, now you can measure it if you want to, and I'll go ahead and give you some measurements real quick. Here's the other side. This is the driver's side. Okay, and if you'll notice, the driver's side is right on the edge. See the edge of the K-frame right here? And it's right on the edge, right here, lines up with that, okay? So if you look at the K-frame overall, this is right on the edge, and then this is about a ½ inch back from the front edge, okay? And just for kicks, we'll go ahead and dig out a measuring tape. All right. Measuring tape from the edge to the front edge is going to be, well, front edge would be over here, but it's roughly 5 inches. Okay, same here. From here to the edge on the passenger side is going to be roughly 3.5. Okay, so take a good look at that. This is your big block K-frame, K-member, or engine cradle is the proper term. Here's your classic small block. Now, at first glance, doesn't look much different, right? So let's start with our passenger side. Remember that little edge I was telling you about? Man, this lighting is horrible. Here we go. Look at this. It's kind of, yeah, let me see if I get better lighting. This is terrible. We're outside, so there we go. So here's the front edge, and look, this is actually hanging over the front edge, okay? Now, if we go over to the other side, and remember we were talking about the front edge of this, and there's just too many shadows. Right here, this front edge. Well, look at where the edge of the K-member is on the back side. See the difference? The big block would be back here, but this is coming about an inch or so over towards the front. So the big block is set back further if you want to, if you will. So I almost hit the thing supporting the hood, and then the hood become crashing down on my head, and that probably wouldn't be good. So let's go ahead and give you the quick measurement. Sorry about the camera going all crazy. Alright, so here we go to the edge. What is it? Not even 2 3/4 inches from the front of that to the front of the K-member. So 2 3/4. We come over here and to the front edge. Of course, I'm taking all sorts of shadows here. And we're going to be looking at about 3 1/4 from the front of that motor mount. So basically your small block is going to be, boy, shadows, terrible. Your small block is going to be further forward on the car, and your big block is going to be further back. That's the easiest way to remember it. So on these, if you look at the video on the motor mounts, you'll see the difference too. The big block mounts are longer, and the K-frame is going to be set further back. Unlike its 72 and older partner, you need to let me try that in English. You need another K-frame if you're going to go from big block to small block. I think they are making conversion mounts. Might be cheaper. Don't know. I would just change K-frame, but if you can't find one, then that's an option. So small block, big block K-frames on 73 and up are different. Well, that's pretty much it. We covered all the things I wanted to cover. You can look at each individual video on one component, or you can watch the finale one that covers all the different applications, if you will. So sorry about the sniffling and the hat and the gloves, but it's kind of cold out here. Hopefully spring will come quickly, and that'll be that. We can get back to doing the fun stuff that you don't freeze to death while you're working. Yeah, I'm a sissy. Don't like the cold, but I'm actually kind of cozy and warm right now. But it's hard to work with gloves. Yeah, you know. So anyway, thank you for watching. Do me a favor and subscribe. Y'all are awesome.